Hey guys, waiting for you guys to come in. What's up, everyone? This is Meet the People Live, and I am super excited for this one because we have the one and only Soukeyna. Yes, she is absolutely amazing. She's beautiful, and I'm super excited to have her in today. I'm gonna read off Soukeyna's bio, all her accolades, because she's absolutely amazing. Hey, Ayana girl. She is a Howard University alum. She went to high school in Senegal, and then she transferred over, came to Howard in 2015. Her credits include, okay, now her credits list is long, and I'm gonna bring her in a second. I see you, Soukeyna. But her credits include work with an ambassador for Savage by Fenty. She was recently in her first film, and I guess you may have heard of it. It was Black is King. Let me know if you heard of that one. She has worked with Kim Kardashian Beauty. She was featured in Vogue Italia. She just did her first magazine feature. Sis be working. But what is even more phenomenal about her is that she is passionate about healthcare. She's passionate about Senegal. She's passionate about just making sure that she's spreading awareness with everything that she does. She's worked with the United Nations Foundation, Nothing But Nets, to fight against malaria. So y'all, she is literally absolutely amazing. I'm excited to bring her in because, like I said, y'all, she's phenomenal. We're going to talk about skincare. We're going to talk about things that she faces in the industry, all of that. Yes, Howard is literally everywhere. And I see her. We're going to bring her in. We're going to hope Wi-Fi is on our side. Yes, y'all, I do have a new background if y'all notice. Hey, girl!
Hi, how are you?
You.
I'm well. Oh my gosh, I never do live, so I'm just like,
Welcome to the live world.
yeah,
Welcome. How are
thank
you
you.
feeling?
I'm well. Everything has kind of been so weird with COVID lately, but I'm really excited just to see, I guess, where the world is going now that we have had a moment to just like chill, sit, in solitude and reflect on all of the wrong things that we have been doing.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
taking for ourselves. Well, Soukeyna, so just so you know, when it comes
Mhm.
to live, before we get into this interview and talk about the greatness of who you are, we're gonna play a game, okay?
Okay.
Now, okay, so the only clue it's gonna be guess that song, right? And so I'm gonna read off the lyrics of a song, okay? And
Okay.
the clue that you get, and I really hope that you had a childhood and you watched Disney films, maybe. We're
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
okay, see
Yeah.
what you've watched, and I'm gonna read off the lyrics, and you have to guess what song it is, right? And everyone in the comments, y'all can help out and help her out, and you can look in the comments, and hopefully you'll get it. Okay.
Yeah, you guys need to come through in the comments.
Okay. It's gonna take a minute. The comments are a little delayed, but it's gonna take a minute. But I'm gonna try to read it slow. All right. Let me pin this so people can know what we're playing. And here we go. Everyone again, this is a Disney, you would see this on Disney Plus. This is a Disney type of film. Okay. Everyone is special in their own way. We make each other strong. We're not the same. We're different in a good way. Together is where we belong. Does it sound familiar?
Okay, so do I have to guess the film?
You have to guess the song. But do you think you know the film? If you know the film, that could work too.
Okay. Um, can I ask a question?
No, no questions. Comments. People are saying Cheetah Girls.
Cheetah Girl.
It's not Cheetah Girls, y'all. It's not
Dang,
Cheetah Girls.
you guys led me astray. Okay.
Come on now, y'all. It's not Cheetah Girls. All right. Everyone is special in their own way. We make each other strong. I'm gonna say the second
High
part.
School Musical.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Do you know the song?
Yes. Well, I think so. It sounds definitely familiar, and it's
We're
bringing
all in this.
this together. Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. The second one. Hopefully, y'all were terrible.
Yeah, you guys led me astray.
I can't do melody on the lyrics, y'all. That's gonna ruin the game. Y'all gotta guess with it. All right. Here it is. Here's the next one. When I was just a little girl, my mama used to tuck me into bed.
Cheetah Girl. I remember that one for sure.
I guess everyone was like a step ahead, right?
Yeah, exactly. I like that though. I like that.
Yeah. All right. So that was Cheetah Girls in High School Musical. Thank you guys for playing Guess That Song, even though Soukeyna was the one that was the champion here. But we're here to talk about you and to talk about your journey. And there's so much we got to talk about, right? Like, I I do my research on everyone that I bring on, but just knowing and like being a part of your journey these last few years from your first year at Howard to
Mhm.
now. I want to take it back. We're gonna take it back to Senegal, right? We're gonna
Okay.
take it back to where when you were in high school and then making the decision to go to Howard. What made you decide to do that, being that you went to school in Africa and then deciding to go back to the United States?
So, really funny story. I was pretty much like a straight A student. I studied a lot, very just like studious, focused. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. In the back of my mind, I wanted to be a model, but it's something I've never felt realistic. So, my first exam, I pretty much failed in calculus, maybe calculus one, or maybe calc two. In high school, I was like, whoa, it was kind of just like a wake up call for me. And my professor of that class, she went to Howard and she just became like a really important role model for myself. And, she was just like, in the moment when I failed the exam, she was like, I'm so glad that you failed because you need to learn that you're going to fail in life. And you kind of like get things and, you kind of have everything so seamless, and that's just not realistic to what life is going to be. I'm glad that you're learning to fail now. And I was just like, this woman is crazy. And the next day I slept on it and I came and I was just like, this woman is out of this world. Like, it was like an amazing realization and epiphany. I just kind of woke up and I was just like, what school did you go to? At the moment I was deciding, colleges, where I want to attend. And she told me Howard University. And I was just like, you know what? It might be lonely at the top. Let me check that out. Yeah, and I applied to Howard. It was, so I was maybe like second or third in my graduating class. So all of the other schools I applied to, like, I had crazy scholarships, it was a really big deal, but it was Howard for me. I wanted the organic experience. I did not want to exist in a space where, I would feel different, but uncomfortably different, and going to Howard, I'm so glad I made that decision because while I was there, it just completely shifted, Again, I went into Howard, a biology major, a chemistry minor. Um, my next steps were going to be medical school. And now I'm here. I live in LA and I'm a model. So Howard has a lot to do with that. I'm so glad I made that decision. I can't imagine going anywhere else. And I'm so glad that I chose Howard over all of the other schools.
Yeah, that's so crazy though, just to think about like the fact that you had this teacher at your school in Senegal that went to Howard.
And who
Like,
happened to be my principal's daughter.
wow. And how
Yeah.
did she back there?
So my principal, Madam Khan, I love her so much. She is actually African American,
Okay.
and she opened a school in Senegal for just it's the Senegalese American bilingual school. So it's a school that just not only speaks French, but we also speak Wolof. We also, speak English. So you kind of just like have a community of bilingual students from everywhere around the world. It's also an international school in the sense that I went to school with people from everywhere: Rwanda, Uganda, Morocco, France, Canada, United States, Nigeria, Togo, Benin. Like I can go on forever. Congo, like I just went South Korea. Like I went to school with people from everywhere. Diplomats' children to, people, the president's child, like these were all, just to paint a picture, these are the people that I went to school with. And we moved to Senegal initially because my father was running for president.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up forming a coalition with the president that we have now. And we kind of just had to like, get up and move. And, I'm so glad that I went to that school because it wasn't so much of a dramatic change since there were people who also spoke English regularly, but also spoke French and, Beninois, etc. So I'm really grateful for that school as well.
Definitely, that's so dope. That's like crazy just to think about, like being like imagining being in a school like that with so
Yeah,
many people all in one.
yeah,
Um, but let's also just talk about the fact that you were a bio major. And so for people tuning in,
yeah,
some people know that part of your journey, and some people just know you as a model, right? So they're
yeah.
just thinking like, oh, she's a pretty face, she's this, and they don't realize that, oh, this girl got some. You were second in your class, second or third in your high school class,
Yeah.
doing great things. What was that moment though when you decided to not be a neurosurgeon anymore and to really take this path of becoming a model and moving to LA?
Well, okay, so I made the decision to move to LA my senior year, but
Okay.
going back from like the inception of the mere thought, freshman year, well, to paint a picture of just Howard in general, it's a whole bunch of like-minded individuals who are just thinking absolutely outside of the box. Like we're just, it's a community of people, Black people from everywhere in the diaspora, whether that be in the Caribbean to the continent of Africa to Europe, etc. You know, Black people exist everywhere, and Howard really is a testament to that. And these people are all there to accomplish something bigger than themselves, to
Mm.
perfect, to, you know, whether it's to be a lawyer or a doctor or, you know, a nurse or a dancer, you know, you want to be the best in that field and tell a story. So being at Howard, you get inspired to really follow what it is you want to do. And I've always, you know, loved the idea of modeling. I love taking pictures. I love colors. I think in a sense, I would consider myself an artist. I just never really explored it at the time because, you know, school is really what's respected back home. It's like you get good grades, you become a doctor, like those are your only options. Anything outside of that is like, are you crazy? You know, like
Yeah.
how can you sacrifice that? So I, you know, had friends, I had, you know, professors, even people that I met in Washington, D.C., and everybody's telling me you should be a model. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. You know, okay, whatever. You know, I'm very short, by the way, a
Five
lot
four,
of times. Pardon?
5'4", right?
Yes, everyone thinks I'm like 5'9" in photos or
No, your
more.
leg
I think it's hilarious.
crazy long. Like I'm like, I don't know what you do to make your legs as long as they do, but yeah, you're 5'4", so
Thank you.
people can learn that as well. But go
That's
ahead.
Yeah, so I am very short. And, you know, I did explore the idea once. I went to an agency in New York. I was 16, maybe. I came for summer break. I spent summer with my older half sister who lived in Brooklyn. And, you know, she took me to an agency and we spoke with some people. They were like, wow, you know, you have an amazing look, but you are so tiny. I'm so sorry, but I don't see a career in modeling for you. And I was just like, oh, okay, you know, that's fine. You win some, you lose some. I'm going to be a doctor anyway. Um, my freshman year at Howard, I told one of my friends, Uganda, like, hey, I want to cut my hair. You know, I just want to shave it all off. I love the shape of my head. I, you know, feel like I'm so attached to my hair anyway because I had like huge natural afro thing going on. Like in high school, I really just like stopped wearing anything else and just started wearing my natural hair. Um, and that was like such a liberating, I guess, just change shift in the way that I thought about beauty. So that freshman year of college, I could feel myself going into that shift, that, you know, new liberation, new change, Soukeyna kind of vibe. And I tried to join actually the elite models
Uh-huh.
my sophomore year of, yeah, sophomore year, I believe, at Howard. And I remember when I was told that I didn't make the cut, and this is like the only modeling organization at Howard at the time.
Yeah.
So you can imagine my disappointment, my, you know, I was so sad. Um, and my friend, so my roommate, which I know you through from,
Yeah.
know you through,
Zoe.
yeah,
Yeah.
Zoe. Sorry, that happens a lot because, you know,
No,
other languages.
trying to figure out like, yeah, I feel it.
Yeah. So, you know, we would practice in the halls of the quad. She would teach me how to walk, but at the time, I would not wear like heels above like 3 inches because my legs are long, but I am short. So my foot to arc at that steepness would really cause my feet pain. So I just never wore heels at a certain height. But she was just like, no, you have to you have to learn, you know, like this is how you have to do it. She's, you know, teaching me these things. And I just started studying, looking at models who were successful, looking at models who were my height, and slowly, you know, discovering people who were shorter or the unconventional type of model. I was just like, I'm going to go for it. By my junior year, I completely just shaved my head off, like all of my hair off, and I just started to go for it. I would find castings online. I would go from DC to New York, back and forth, back and forth. You know, I didn't really book so many jobs. I started booking jobs locally in Washington, D.C. and kind of developing my own portfolio. And I did that by, you know, collaborating with photographers in the DMV area that whether it was I admired their work or saw that they could help me learn to pose or, you know, whatever it was, I took every moment, you know, to learn and just broaden my own, you know, modeling career experience. And slowly, by the time, or progressively, by the time I was a senior in, let me see, 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time I was a senior, I was getting booked for jobs in New York, called for castings for like Calvin Klein, you know, for Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I want to say, I don't remember what month it was, but I booked my first campaign for Pat McGrath, which was like out of, like I couldn't even breathe. I was just like, Pat McGrath, like that's the #1 makeup artist. You know, she's a Black woman. She's been doing it for years, like decades. Like she's the OG, you know, in just makeup in general. So that was like my first campaign. And then after that, it was like Revlon, Anastasia Beverly Hills. And these were happening like within like weeks of each other. And I wasn't signed to an agency. I still had to, you know, run back to DC to do a test, you know, like for microbiome or attend labs. You know, I'm negotiating with professors. Please don't fail me. I'll do the work. I just have to, you know, this is what I want to do. And I had a professor, Dr. Rebo. He was just like, you know, this is what you want to do, you just have to do that. But you can't keep, you know, bouncing back and forth. And by the time it was my last month of school, I was flying to LA every single week, pretty much. And that whole semester, I'd been to LA. I lived in LA or was in LA longer than I was in Maryland or DC.
Wow.
And I was also balancing the idea of moving to New York or moving to LA, and which one would be more beneficial to my career. So finally, because I was going to LA so much, and also because of the weather, I decided to move to LA. I was miserable in the whole, like East Coast. Yeah, like Senegalese people, winter, not a good match. So I finally decided to move to LA, and now I'm here. It's been, I guess, a year now. So yeah.
What would you say, you know, now knowing all the background knowledge to how you got to where you are, what was that conversation with yourself, like knowing that you were going to have to go after a career? Because with modeling, it's like, it's gig after gig, right? Like that's how you make your income.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, if you're a doctor or you have, you know, your skills, that's guaranteed money.
Yeah.
What was the conversation with yourself to make that decision? Like, you know what, I'm going to go after this dream and I'm going to make it work.
Well, really funny story. I started dating this guy, which I'm still dating. His name's Kari. I love him. And he was kind of just like so confused at the idea that I was hesitating about, you know, going for something that I really wanted. He was just like, it's so black and white for me. Like, if you want to do this, you can do it. Just do it. And I was still stuck in the very like Senegalese frame of mind where it's like, I am scared to pursue something within the arts because, you know, just different things my family would tell me, like, there's not much longevity in it, you know, you can only model until you're like 25. Like, you know, they would tell me things like this, or, you know, not everybody becomes the next Naomi Campbell, Soukeyna, you know? So he was definitely a big part of that. Just like, if you want something, just get up and do it. And I was just like, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna move to LA. And I just kind of just woke up one day and I was like, yeah, I'm moving to LA. I just started saying it in conversations with people at senior year. Everybody's like, oh, what are you doing next? Where are you going? You know, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go to grad school? Are you going to med school? You're gonna take MCAT? And I'm just like, no, I'm gonna go to LA. And they're just like, oh wow, congrats. And slowly, like, telling as many people as I started telling, it just became more real, you know? Oh, you're going to LA? Well, what part of LA? And I'm just like, huh, you know, I should probably think about that. Or, you know, what are you going to do immediately? I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'm just kind of figure it out. But yes, I literally one day, it sounds really crazy. And every time I tell people this, they're just looking at me like, oh my God. I literally put up like an advertisement to sublease my apartment. I found a girl who wanted to take my apartment. I bought a one-way flight to Los Angeles, and I packed up my stuff and had my friends take my other things, and I literally just came to LA. And that's really how it happened. I can't even tell you, like, I planned, no. I was like, I'm moving to LA, and I think I moved the week of graduation. So I didn't even go to my graduation. You
didn't go to graduation?
No, I literally just went to LA. Everybody always tells me I'm so crazy for it, but I knew this is what I wanted. Like, I'm a Libra, so, like, you know, people know us for being indecisive. So balancing the two choices, pardon?
So you had to make a decision. You're like, I gotta go. If I
don't. Exactly. Once I make a decision, I stick to it. I don't change my mind. That's what I want. So that was what I wanted. And my parents were just like, you go to LA, Soukeyna, you're going to be on your own. And I was just like, well, I guess I'm going to be on my own. See you guys on the other West Coast. And they were just like, wow. Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I didn't even know that. So, like, now, like, here, I'm like, what? Like, you missed graduation? I guess I didn't see you there. Like, I guess I didn't care when I was on campus. But I'm so excited for you. When I tell you everything that you do, whenever I see you pop up on somebody's page or another brand or something like that, I'm like, oh my God, I know her. I'm so proud to see.
Thank you.
That, and somebody said ambition going crazy. Like, that's literally what it is. And when you do choose a career in the arts, you really have to believe that this, what is for you at the end of the day. And I think that's so phenomenal. And just hearing that, I'm like, wow, like, that's amazing. So let's just talk about some of the things that happened in this first year. We're going to have to also tap into your other passions as well. But while we're on it and just talking about this first year, Black is King, Savage by Fenty, you're now an ambassador. KKW, right? Kim Kardashian's line. I don't know where I want to go first. Like, what do I want to tap into first? Which was the first of the three? How about that? Which one did you ink first?
So I did KKW Beauty before I was signed with an agency. I got a DM from someone on the Yeezy team and an email, and I thought it was fake. And I love Yeezy. I always, like, just dreamed of doing a Yeezy campaign, so I thought it was for Yeezy. I'm, like, jumping up and down. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna, you know, finally get to do a Yeezy campaign. And I actually read through the email, and she's like, hey, you know, can you come down to Calabasas for like quick casting? We already want to book you, but we kind of just want to see you in person. You know, like, Instagram is another thing. You know, sometimes people don't look the same.
Yeah. I
literally went the same day or probably the next day. One of my friends in LA drove me to Calabasas.
Pardon? Calabasas is not a short drive for all those.
No. It was almost an hour.
Yeah.
Especially with LA traffic. I get to Calabasas, you know, I meet with the KKW team, I guess, creative director. And she's like, okay, we're going to send you contracts. And I was like, wow, this is happening? Like, you know, I was really excited. I love the brand. Kim Kardashian's also a Libra. So I was just like, you know, super excited for that. And when we shot, it was a blast. I truly love being behind the camera. I love creating art. So it was an amazing experience. But I hope that just inspires people who want to be models. You don't have to be signed to an agency. Most of the biggest jobs I've done without an agency. So,
Wow.
and I'm currently not signed with an agency. I just got out of the contract earlier this year.
Wow. Okay, so you're
terrible experience. Just putting that out there.
Okay, so y'all heard that. So sometimes you don't need it. It's all about that ambition. It's about putting out. Yeah, well done on following your dreams. Exactly. Literally, it's about putting out the content. It's like you said, taking photos, with your friends, full practicing, and you never know what DM that can bring you to. All right, so let's talk about Savage by Fenty. How did this part? Because I want to know. Because October 2nd, something's on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
See you there, or is it?
Well, I believe they're having their volume 2 fashion show on Amazon Prime. No, but thank you. That's nice that you thought that. But no, I will not be. I am a Savage ambassador. Yes. I started working with them June of this year. So while the pandemic started, shout out to my management team. I'm managed by an amazing team, Gleam. My manager's name is Monica. She's amazing. She's also a Black woman. So that's a whole nother experience compared to being signed with an agency full of people where none of them know what I look like. Half of them are saying my name wrong. You're just like model number 58, to them.
Yeah.
Or in my case, I was just the only dark-skinned, bald model at my agency. So my management first told me, like, hey, we're working on this with Savage. Is this something you're open to? I'm speaking with the team now, and, they love your look, but we know that you're Muslim and, you're not very open to, like, showing certain things. Like, you'll do the bathing suits, but lingerie was, like, so left. And at first I thought, this could be a great opportunity to either just, I guess, remove certain connotations with people who wear lingerie, especially online. And then it occurred to me that, lingerie is just another type of accessory or clothing. Lingerie is like tops and, bottoms and stockings, and, it could be something like sunglasses, etc. And a lot of times I feel like we have a habit of just like taking something and just running with that idea instead of like really sitting and appreciating the art for what it is.
Yeah.
And knowing everything that just goes into the message behind Savage and its very existence. Modeling does not have to look a certain way. Models do not have to look a certain way. There are all kinds of models. Models is not someone who's tall or blonde or blue-eyed or long hair. There's a universal, I guess, a universalness.
Yeah, there's a universal look.
We have to target and try to market to every type of person, not just the blonde hair, blue-eyed, tall, skinny girl, Yeah. And that's really when I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to compromise anything about what I guess, feel for myself. I'm not going to compromise my own morals, but I'm still going to show people, myself wearing these clothings, and it doesn't change anything about me. It doesn't change the fact that I study biology and I'm a scientist. It doesn't change that, I could be a doctor still if I wanted to be.
Okay.
It doesn't change that I'm a global health champion for the United Nations. Like, it's not going to change anything about me. And I hope that people don't overthink these things moving forward. And that's kind of why I just did it.
I think you do it in such a creative way, like when it comes to like the lingerie, there's a certain way of how you promote it. You're like, this bralette, and you can also get this. It's just, there's a tasteful way of doing things. And like you said, you showcase that I can promote this brand in a different type of way, right? So you want to promote this brand. Well, I'm going to bring my flavor to it. And I think you do that with every project that you agree to sign on with. So I think that's absolutely amazing. And I think you do it flawlessly. So go ahead. And the last one, First of all, sis, you just shook the world with this one. I mean, and it's so crazy how good of a secret keeper you are. I'm like, hold up, like, it's like, first of all, I'm like, you were not only, you were like, oh yeah, I was in, I'm in Black is King, but you were in a scene with the queen,
I'm
with
screaming.
Beyonce.
The
I don't
queens. There
queen,
was Miss Tina.
multiple queens. I'm sorry. Yes, you were in. It was you weren't even just no. It was Kelly, Beyonce, and Miss Tina. You were in all, and then you. Okay, so it was multiple queens on set. I know that when it comes to Beyonce, there's certain things that you can talk about, but talk to me just about how that felt seeing yourself in Black is King and being a part of this film.
Well, first off, I want to say, like, Beyonce is like one of the kindest people, and she's so beautiful. It's like, and she's so just human. Like, it's crazy to me. I'm sitting on set, and everything just feels so surreal. Everybody has the same kind of reaction. It's like, wow, this is such a kind-hearted person, like a just beautiful soul that you're amongst. And we're sitting there creating. We all kind of have the same goal in mind. We're trying to, all do our jobs, create something beautiful. And despite all of the controversy, yes, that everyone has had with Black is King, I've never been on set with more African people, one, and I'm African. I've never felt more comfortable on set, two, and that's very important. You have no idea. It felt like being at Howard almost, where I'm not thinking about my Blackness. It's not the first thing that, defines me. When you enter certain corporate spaces, it's like, oh, that's Black woman, whatever, But when you're at Howard, it's just like, oh, this is Soukeyna, this is, Mary, this is who, et cetera, et cetera. So being on set was just so amazing. There were so many Black creatives, so many African creatives. I met a woman who creates and collects African art. So she can tell you, this piece is from Mozambique in the year of whatever, and Shaka Zulu's family has passed this down from generation to generation. I met my cousin on set that I've never met ever in my life.
That's crazy. You got to talk about that as well. But go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
I've made amazing friends, Isaac, to just there. It was just an amazing experience. And, Beyonce, she even at one point or one moment, to give you guys like an idea of like just how amazing and just humble and human she is. She completely stopped like working with us on one set and just to go and like thank the children from the last set that she did. And it was just like, wow, like some people can walk past someone and it doesn't even occur to them to say thank you, that they, moved over a little bit to let them pass through. She's just so considerate. She's just an amazing person. She's so nice. And, she spoke with all of us, complimented. She's like, oh, you're so beautiful. I'm like, no, you didn't just tell me I was beautiful. But it was an amazing experience overall. And I'm so grateful for it. I met so many creatives, so many Black creatives. And it really should be an eye-opener to the whole industry and just everyone in the world. There seems to be an argument of there being a shortage of Black talent, Black minds, Black, models, Black creatives, Black directors. But if anything, Black is King proves, no, there is not a shortage. You're just not looking in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome. All right, so talk about, you said you met your cousin. That's crazy right there.
Yes.
I'll the caption, but.
So basically, we're on set. I think it's day one, and I just meet a group of people. I see them sitting. I come a little bit later than them, and everyone's really nice and just open. And just African culture kind of revolves around, hey, how are you? Greeting people, acknowledging people. Like it's very important that you greet people when you enter a space. So I come in, and a group of guys are sitting. It's 3 guys, and one of them, his name is Isaac, which is a good friend of mine now. He's like, hey, you know, what's your name? You know, my name is Soukeyna. Where are you from? I'm from Senegal. Oh, my name is Isaac. I'm from Ivory Coast. This is our other friend. This is our other friend. He's from Nigeria. He's from Senegal. I'm like, you're from Senegal? You know, I'm from Senegal.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I'm from Senegal by way of Paris. And I'm like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, Cora Juve. I'm like, Juve is my last name. Like, ding, ding, ding. So just to give you guys like a backstory, my last name Juve, though it may be popular, Juve is still a last name that's associated with a certain kingdom in Senegal, which is the Kingdom of Sine, where my father comes from. If we still had these kingdoms established, my father would probably be the king of Sine now, because he is the eldest of his brothers. And those things are taken very seriously back home in our culture. Yeah. So basically, the Kingdom of Sine, you know, the kings have the last name Juve. And if my parents specifically named me Soukeyna Nofen Juve, so that's my full name, Soukeyna Nofen Juve. And Nofen is more of a middle last name in the sense that it just establishes me as one who's from the kingdom.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, Juve. And I'm like, who is your grandfather? Because we all have the same grandfather. And he's like, oh, you know, something, I don't know. And I'm just like, does, you know, Boursine maybe sound familiar? Because that's the name of the last king. And he passed in 1969, like when Senegal established itself as a independent republic. You know? Okay. So I'm like, he's like, he doesn't really know. He cannot really recall. I said, call your parents. We have to figure this out now. Because if I have my cousin here on set, like, I want to know, you know? He called his father, and he asked his father some questions, and his father's like, yeah, why are you asking this? Did you meet someone? And he's like, yeah, I think I just met my cousin. And we're just sitting there, like, freaking out. Like, I know his family and, like, his father's cousin's sister. It was so crazy and surreal to me because it was so unexpected. Los Angeles is it's a big city, don't get me wrong. But the Senegalese community here is very small. I have only met one other Senegalese man, and that was him. Since I've lived in LA, and I'm pretty social. I will talk to strangers, you know, like all of that. But I was so shocked. And since then, we've been in contact. You know, it's nice to like meet family in that way. So,
and then for it to be on, like, it's just on a Black is King set, like that's for it to really that's beautiful. Like that she was able to, like, you know, find these people to be a part of it, and it turns out to be your cousin. That's insane. Like that's a crazy story.
I was blown away. We were telling people on set, and they were like, "Wait, what?" Like that's crazy.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
And one of the choreographers for the film, she's also Senegalese, Kani Javate. She's amazing, so talented. And Senegal is a relatively small country in Africa. It's not the smallest, but we're relatively small. So there's certain aspects of our culture when we see it, you know, appreciated in the public like this. It's a big deal for us, you know, like, I guess some big people from Senegal are like Akon. I know Issa Rae's father is Senegalese.
Okay.
Like, for us, it's like we're still a tiny country in the sense that not a lot of people will either know about us or may just seem very foreign. So for us to be, I guess, presented to the world in a film like this, it was a really big deal for us. And then to meet the choreographer, and she's Senegalese, like, we were speaking Wolof on set. I can't tell you when's the last time I met someone in America since I've been here. In 2015 is when I came, and I met someone who actually spoke my language, and we could talk about, you know, jollof rice and, you know, drinking tea, etc.
That's jollof, right?
So, you know what? I'm just going to clear this up once and for all for everyone. Jollof is a tribe. Okay? And that tribe is in Dakar, Senegal. That's where the original of no, seriously, that's where the origin of those people are from. And I really have this theory that, like, someone from Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, they just came and they tasted the rice, and they were like, okay, this jollof man or this jollof woman made the rice, so we're going to call it jollof rice. Because we don't even call it jollof rice. We call it jebujin.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so of course we make the best jollof rice. Like, pardon, Chebujin.
Jeb, one more time.
Cheb, like cheb.
Jeb,
U,
ooh,
like chebu.
Chebu,
Jin.
Chebujin.
Chebujin.
Chebujin, like
Yeah,
Jin, like
exactly.
Chebujin.
Yeah, Chebujin.
Okay, so hopefully there's not going to be an argument in the comments.
It's not necessary. We
Yes.
don't need to argue about this. This is facts.
You confirmed it. You confirmed it. Okay, so we're gonna pivot into your passion for healthcare and what you're doing with that, and one of them being malaria, which is something that you actually survived and you had at when you were younger, and this is something now that you fight against. Can you talk to me about that? What has that experience been using your platform as a model, as an influencer, to really share, to tell people what malaria is, one, and your battle with it?
So malaria is a very popular disease, rampant. Well, I won't say rampant. It's still exists, and it doesn't have to because it's preventable. So malaria is not something that people are born with. It's something that you get, and once malaria reaches a certain state, and develops to a certain state, because it does affect your immune system, you can actually die from it. And the reason, well, aside from me having malaria, I got malaria in high school.
Oh, wow.
And I lost so much weight. I was looking at my ribs, and I really thought I was going to die because I was so shocked at, my inability to digest food. I couldn't eat food. I had no appetite for food. And then I felt so weak. My body was hurting. And thinking about other people who might not have the means that I had in the moment to get cured and to feel better, that is the part that just, I couldn't understand why everybody wasn't fighting against malaria.
Yeah.
And when I learned about the Nothing But Nets organization, I actually learned about it through a Howard alum, another Howard alum woman, Ama. And when she first introduced me to the idea of even working with the Nothing But Nets organization, it was just an automatic yes. It was almost innate for me. I was just like, I have a platform. I have people who are paying so much attention to, what kind of highlighter I'm using, if I'm wearing rings, where my jeans are from. What if I can almost channel this attention into something much more important, something bigger than even myself? And I started to just kind of pay attention to the trends of social media, like, hey, people pay attention to nice pictures. And that kind of is the first thing that gets their attention, and then they read the caption. So I'm going to post a nice picture to get your attention, and then in the caption, I'm going to, drop some gems. You guys need to understand, like, malaria exists, and like hundreds of people are dying, hundreds of thousands of people are dying from it. And this doesn't have to be the case. We're working towards a malaria-free generation, which is so possible. It can be prevented by simply just sleeping in a net. The way that I got malaria was, we lived in Almadi, which is like, I guess, a newer developed place in Senegal, in Dakar. And right by our house, there was a body of water, like not necessarily a river, but something similar. And because there was the body of water, there's, of course, a lot of mosquitoes in the area. And I would be so lazy to set up my net, like, to sleep under. I'm just like, oh, tonight I'm not going to sleep under it. And I kind of just neglected to put up the net for, I don't know, maybe like a month. And finally, I started to feel terrible, like terribly sick. I cannot even explain using words in English or any other language that I speak to, to really explain the pain that your body goes through. Like, you just feel very weak and just empty. I almost went into just a depression after I was better from malaria, because it makes you lose so much weight because you're not eating anything. Like, everything you eat, you release it again, so it's natural for you to think, I should just not eat, so that's kind of, I guess, one of the effects of it. And once it reaches the cerebral state, that's when people can actually either lose their minds or actually just die from malaria. So working with Nothing But Nets has been an absolute honor to be a global health champion for the United Nations. It's one of those moments where, like, you might not have a seat at the table, but you just create one. And that's even the term global health champion, because I technically cannot be an ambassador because ambassador entails certain responsibilities under the United Nations. So creating even that term, global health champion, I'm so proud and so glad. It's like the middle space where my modeling and my platform and all of that can meet like the passions that I truly do have for global health. If I was not modeling right now, I would probably pursue a PhD in global health.
Wow. And knowing you, that might be something that you do later down.
Yes.
That is so powerful. And I think so many of us, we don't know what malaria is. We just, especially here,
Yeah.
right? States, like we kind of just, we've heard of it, right? But to hear, you hear that people die from it so often, but you don't realize, like, and when I found out that you had it, I was like, wow. And you use the platform to really speak about that. And again, you got to give your roses there for you using your platform to do that. How do you want to continue using your platform to educate people on malaria and other health issues?
Like I said earlier about just having people paying attention to you, it becomes almost innate for me. Like, okay, you guys are paying attention to me, what I'm eating for breakfast. I'd rather you guys pay attention to this going on somewhere else. And being that I am, on the West Coast of a complete different continent than I'm from, I'm West African and I'm here in LA, I just feel like being the person that I am, I could be a bridge for people to understand how small the world truly is.
Yeah.
Malaria is not, it's only the beginning. It's not the end of the global health issues that I want to touch on. And I want to just, I guess, teach people and inform people about. But I'm so glad that it was the start, because we're so close to having a malaria-free generation. I know that, if I'm not mistaken, the numbers are about like 60% increase in like, I guess, how helpful everything that has been done so far to help has been effective. Sorry, I just mixed up all those words. But
yeah, that's fine. I said you're fine.
Aside from that, I know that just in general, my goal at the end of the day is to almost shift what people think about models, and for it to become something more than someone who is beautiful. I wrote something some time ago about how our beauty is defined more by our acts than it is by the way we look. And if every model, who is in the limelight or in the spotlight or getting so much public attention or is in the public eye, if they focused more on being beautiful people and telling their following something more important, we would not just be models in the sense that we're modeling clothing, but rather model citizens, model beings, model humans. And at the end of the day, that's really my goal. I want to just shift this idea, this notion that I just only must be beautiful on the outside. I want people to really be beautiful in their deeds. And that's really where I see myself.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be a part of this moment. That everyone that's able to tune in to now they see you on social media again, but now they get to actually hear you speak and your journey and hear what you're passionate about. And I'm so excited to be a part of this, because your work is literally phenomenal, right? You go viral all the time for what you do in terms of modeling, but your work that you're going to impact, whether it be healthcare, whether it be globally, and the conversations that you're going to be able to spark, I cannot wait to see what you do in these next few years as you continue to elevate and expand with your career. So I, again, have to give you your roses, and everyone tuning in. I'm super excited that y'all are able to be witness of this conversation and to be witness of the greatness of Soukeyna. So I think you're absolutely amazing. Before I let you go, because I know IG, one thing that Instagram does do is that they'll lock you out. I mean, they'll shut it down in about 10 minutes when it hits an hour.
Okay.
But we have to talk about skincare because that was something else. Because everyone wants to know, right?
I'm screaming.
Everyone wants to know, how do you glow like this, right? How show the cheekbones, because you were blessed with some great cheekbones. Okay, you see that? Look at that. Pose it. All right. Everyone wants to know, what is the skincare routine? What do you do when you wake up in the morning? And I can say that if they see you in person, flawless.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're making me blush. So I think it's so important. I don't think skincare is specific to a sex or anything. I think everybody needs to take care of their skin. It's just hygiene for me. My skincare routine, I call it the balancing act, because if I'm feeling like my skin is dry, I'm going to use more oil heavy products. And if my skin is feeling very oily, I'm going to steer away from that. Now, I did lay them out because I remember you told me you're going to ask about it.
I love a person that comes prepared.
Of course. So some of my favorite products to just cleanse my skin, I am obsessed with the Dermalogica Superfoliant.
Okay.
This is a product that's going to exfoliate your skin. It's going to help, I guess, everything that you put on successively penetrate better. Yeah. And it's great for just living in Los Angeles because there's so much pollution. And they came out with this Superfoliant, which is like the anti-pollution one. So right now with the wildfires, this is the one that I'm using, but on a regular basis, I'm using this one. Okay. Another product I love is my Core Organics. Let me see. Yes. It is like a brightening turmeric facial mask. And it has little beads that just exfoliate your skin, and then it has like peppermint, so it tingles, and it just feels like an at-home facial. Like, I swear by this, and this is one of the products that I'm going to be giving away in the giveaway that I do for my, I guess when I reach 100K.
Okay.
Super close. Yeah.
Right there.
Let me see, another product I love. So this is something I recommend for people with drier skins. It's the Tatcha Dewey Skin Mist.
Okay.
It's just really good for just hydrating your skin. This is a Black-owned brand, Claire. I love their product so much. It's another facial wash that doesn't strip your skin. This is something that I'm using when I'm just at home. My skin is balanced. My skin is okay. I'm not breaking out. My skin is not imperfect, so, you know, occasionally I do get them. Other than that, body care, I love Skin Butter. Okay. I swear by these products. It's by Tatiana Elizabeth, another Black-owned brand, and I don't know what the secret is, but the African in me loves shea butter, and I know that it's very rich in that. And it smells so amazing. I recommend this to everyone. I put so many of my Howard friends onto this. It's a scrub and then the whipped butter. Other than that, you know, just some basics like vitamin C. As a Black woman, we get hyperpigmentation. I use Core Organics vitamin C serum, and for my lips, some Laneige. Of course, this is not everything, but this is what I could carry out while I was coming and sitting here to do the live. Any other questions? You know, my DMs are open, and I try to respond to as many people as possible. And you can also just, I guess, comment. Yeah, comment.
That's what she does, where she gets everything. I'm about to ask for a whole list because I'm gonna need to know. All right, because your skin is literally glowing, and it always looks absolutely amazing. So, I mean, you guys. Again, I'm glad that I was able to witness this so y'all can get some of the to how you can get your skin to glow and look beautiful as your skin does. Before I let you go, there is one question that I do have to ask. Again, I have to highlight the fact that you are not only Senegalese, but you were Muslim as well. Yeah. You're proud of your religion. You're proud of where you are from, and you are proud of your complexion, and it is everything about you you're proud of. But I do have to ask, you know, you're a first for many, right? So oftentimes, like you said, like many of the sets that you walk on, people don't look at you, right? And
Yeah.
you're one of the onlys. Maybe not the first, but one of the onlys. How did you find your voice in these rooms?
So my father is a very proud man, and I am so grateful for his presence in my life, as he would never allow me to just, sit and mope. And, he was one of those people who, I remember when my family moved to North Carolina. I was born in New Jersey. We lived in New York and North Carolina and Senegal. So when we moved to North Carolina, my father was very, I guess present in the sense that it was a new environment and everyone around me did not look like me. And it was, everyone had so many questions like, oh my gosh, why is your skin so dark? Like, why is your name not something simple? And my father had answers to all of these questions. I came home sad one day, just like, I was very young. I was, maybe less than middle school or in middle school. And he was just like, Soukeyna, what's wrong? And I'm just like, all these kids keep asking me these weird questions. I don't understand. I never processed until that point that I look different from other people and it mattered. My father would sit with me for about like a year every single night before I go to bed, and he would just like tell me exactly where I came from all the way back. Like, my father's one of those very proud people, and because we're Senegalese, and the ways that our history is passed down, it's oral. He has, we have family griots who know our history from, all the way back to where our ancestors were, black, dark-skinned pharaohs. So he would sit and remind me how much strength and beauty there was in my skin being so rich, and how being different was not a bad thing. It was an amazing thing in the sense that I get to share. It's like if you have a whole bunch of, certain color flowers, a different flower comes, you can now get to learn about why the flower is pigmented in this way, the beauty of the flower being presented in a different color, and it almost being a metaphor for how all humans are different in some sense. We just don't really care to look at the differences sometimes or pay so much attention to it. But in terms of just speaking up and finding my voice, whether it's on set, it's just a matter of knowing who you are and understanding that no matter the situation, this is what you know, this is who you are, and that's not going to be compromised ever. I can never change the fact that my name is Soukeyna, I am Muslim, I'm Senegalese. Like, these are things that are almost etched in my DNA, and I'm so grateful to God that I was born in this body and have the confidence in mind that I do, because I think it's almost my divine responsibility to, really share with the world me.
Well, that was absolutely beautiful. I love the analogy. And again, I think you're amazing, and I think for everyone that looks up to you, it's Instagram's about to shut us out in 2 minutes exactly. But I just again want to give you your flowers, and thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for the role that you're playing in young girls' lives, people that get to know you, for people that get to be around you. It's a blessing to know you, but it's also a blessing for those that follow you. I literally cannot wait. It's an honor to be a part of this moment. I'm glad I could be your first live.
Yes, this was my first live. And I was so nervous, by the way. I was so happy that it was with you, like somebody that I know, because I was so like, just, like, this is going to be so different. Yeah. But I'm so glad that I did this. It was an amazing experience, and I had a lot of fun.
Well, we did it. We did it, girl. Stay safe. And y'all go out and support. Tell your friends to follow Soukeyna so we can get to 100K. Okay, we're about almost there. So let's get you there to 100K.
Thank you so much, Niall, for everything. This was such an honor, and I'm so proud of you as well. And I'm sure that everybody knows what Niall's doing. You're gonna go places as well, and I will see you at the top, sis.
Yes, girl. Right at the top. We'll be there together. Thank you so much, girl. Stay safe. All right.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was an exclusive interview with the one and only Soukeyna. So make sure you guys, I will go and save it to my IGTV now. I'm going to get out before it leaves. I will be back on Monday with a special episode. This has been Meet the People Live. Thank you guys so much for watching.